The roster is in place. There's a few more freshmen showing up early in the summer. And if we're being honest, the non-conference schedule isn't going to offer any adversity to this USC team. So will the freshmen be ready for the Big Ten conference opener on the road? Kendell Hollowell from USC on SI. He's going to tell you what's going to happen when the Trojans get to New Jersey.
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, thanks for making Locked On USC your first listen on the #1 sports podcast network in the country. That's the Locked On Network. Longtime guest, Kendell Hollowell, USC on SI. He attends practices, watches the games from the press box, just like I do. So we see, USC's strengths and weaknesses, and, we hear things that we can't talk about at practice, but we're going to, we can put some of that stuff into context as we bring you the information. So, Kendell, USC opens the season against San Jose State. They finished last year 3-9. Fresno State 9-4, and then they finish up the non-conference with Louisiana, who finished up at 6-7 in 2025. Again, not exactly a murderer's row by any stretch of the imagination. USC's first game in conference, it's on the road. It's, 3,500 miles away in Piscataway, New Jersey. The Scarlet Knights, they have an over-under of 4.5 wins. So, will the Trojans have to wait until they open the conference play on the road to know what their weaknesses are? Or is this, just wait till Oregon gets here in week 5 type of thing? What's your take on the whole situation?
Ideally, you not like to wait until Oregon gets here. Right, to kind of figure out what you kind of need to be a little bit better at. But, I felt like last year we kind of knew in the beginning of the year where they weren't necessarily good at, right? Obviously they had the blowout wins to open the season, and then they beat Purdue in the Big Ten opener. But, we kind of knew secondary was, as far as, communication was kind of a little bit of a problem. They had those long touchdowns I know they gave up against Georgia Southern and Missouri State to open the year. Gap discipline looked like a problem, especially on that first drive of Missouri State. We all remember that one. I just remember us kind of looking at each other on that first drive and was like, that's not what it's supposed to look like. Not against.
That's what Patterson promised us.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a little concerning. So, again, I'm not necessarily sure right now. We could talk about it, what we think that the weaknesses will be, but I think you can always see little things that you want to be better at, even in those big wins. Either it happens on a certain series, maybe on defense, or the offense kind of goes 3 and out or something doesn't look right. I think it's little things like that you notice. They could win the game 60-7. And there's something that happens oh, do you remember this stretch in the second quarter? Or do you remember when they were like this on defense and they weren't necessarily good? So I think we can kind of figure it out. It's not going to be glaring, but there are going to be little nuggets of it, I guess.
Yeah, so, before I go to the next question for you, which is about, it's kind of a weakness, maybe not, but after 2 weeks, what gives me confidence is the attention to detail from this coaching staff, especially on defense, especially
I know where you're going.
Special teams. So is there that weakness, or is that coaching going to overcome it because of the youth factor that I think you and I are kind of focused on right now?
Talking about linebacker?
Well, you could start there if you want. They're not young at linebacker.
I was going to say safety. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're on the same page. I know how you feel about the linebacker, so I was I'm making sure. All right. Now I'll think about the safety. No, they're mixing things around, right? Because obviously Christian Pierce isn't going to be there. He's not there in the spring. He's out with his offseason procedure, which is huge because you would like to have those, especially just those reps around with Coach Gonzalez, because we've seen what Coach Gonzalez can do. So you would ideally like for him to be in there just getting, more than just kind of mental reps. We project Kennedy Urlacher to be another starter alongside him, especially with him stepping in last year. But outside of that, it's a question mark. So Tristan Castro was playing safety last week, right? He was obviously a 4-star corner, so they're obviously trying some people out of that position. Prophet Brown has been playing some safety, primarily playing nickel and outside corner in his career. So they're mixing things around. They're trying to figure out like who can play that. D. Riddick was mainly a nickel, and he's mainly playing safety right now. So they're kind of trying to figure out who is that kind of next in line, who's that second group, and kind of trying to create a.
I think it's Alex Graham is going to be that glue to that safety room. Whether it's going to be at nickel or whether it's going to be, in the box at strong safety. I don't know, but I think he is probably the one guy that I would take the pencil, put away, and pull out the pen and say he's going to be starting somewhere at safety, whether it's again nickel or strong, because one of the things that Patterson wants is somebody who can play it like a linebacker, and Alex Graham has that hitter's mentality. So I think he's the guy. Look, they didn't address it in the transfer portal, so whether that's going to be a weakness or not. Ooh, we lost Kendell there. Hopefully he jumps back in. I'll just keep rambling, filibustering here. That could be a possible weakness, but right now, I think it gets made up. The difference gets made up with the coaching, the guys that they brought in: Gary Patterson, Paul Gonzalez, Sam Carter. Their expertise is going to kind of fill that gap, and that's something I talked about with Marvin Powell III earlier this week on Locked On USC. He talked about how coaching can kind of fill in that gap where you have the talent, but you still got to kind of bring them along. All right, so I'm done filibustering, Kendell. I was just that's all right. I was just basically saying how you brought up Paul Gonzalez and Sam Carter and Gary Patterson. The coaching will be the difference between the lack of experience or any type of chemistry that safety room has right now.
100%. I mean, if you just it kind of seems like this is kind of a little bit of the problem. Like if you just put the guys in position, right, to make plays. We know that they have, I guess, like pure talent. I don't think that's like really a question. You can kind of go off of that just based on some of their recruiting classes. But when you're out of position, you're out of sync and all that, that's kind of been the issue under Lynn and obviously Grinch before that. So if you can fix that part of it, it'll be so much better.
Yeah, no, the focus on eye placement and seeing the play and not getting yourself out of position just because you have bad footwork. That's what I'm talking about, where the coaching takes over, and that's what's really been emphasized. So let me ask you this, because you've heard it, I've heard it, even the fans have heard the quotes. The coaching staff have said, look, by the time freshmen go through winter conditioning, spring camp, summer PRPs, fall camp, you're no longer a freshman by the time you start playing the games. So here's a specific question for you. Is Jonas Williams going to be QB2 early, or that Sam Huard's lane in case, you got to break that emergency glass type of moment where we don't want Jayden Maiava to be hurt? But riding on the season, is Lincoln Riley going to go to his next guy in the rotation, or is he going to lean into Sam Huard, who's, he's got the experience?
Question. That's kind of the question a little bit on offense right now, right? You got
the running game, you got the line, everything's set.
Yeah, ideally you would like Jonas Williams to be your backup, especially I'm looking specifically, we were talking about the beginning, the opening slate of games. You want him taking more of those reps because obviously Sam's older and he's been around a little bit more. What does that do? That doesn't really do anything for you, I guess, even if you're looking beyond this year, right? You want your quarterback, you want him throwing reps, you want him, have game experience, especially just going in for next year. I think it's a good sign if Jonas is your backup. It just shows that we know he's mature, we know he's an accurate passer. It just shows the progression that you want in your freshman quarterback. If he can kind of be that guy, he could be a backup for you.
I just think Lincoln Riley has to know at the end of spring camp. I don't think you get this figured out in fall camp. In fall camp, these guys need to know what the depth chart is and start working with that depth chart, because there are positions where you're going to be playing young players, specifically wide receiver, tight end on that side of the ball. On the defensive side, you're going to have younger guys in the rotation. So you have to have that figured out. The last thing I think Lincoln Riley wants needs to be focused on is, all right, who's my backup quarterback? Again, there's just so much riding on the season. And I don't know if it might be too early to tell, but, as you're looking at the rotation during spring camp, Sam has been and I'm using finger quotes, the number 2 guy.
Yeah.
What we get to see.
Mm-hmm.
What that means, who knows? Probably means nothing. But again, I think it's going to be interesting to see how Coach Riley deals with that this year. Last year, everybody assumed Huson Longstreet was the backup, and I think he was, but they never did anything with him. So what's the point of making him your number 2 if you're not going to put him in the game? You know what I'm saying? What's the value of getting those reps against San Jose State, Fresno State, and Louisiana, and then not seeing the field again for the rest of the season?
You talking about Jonas?
Yeah.
Well, I think it has a lot of value. Just getting in there, just having some
game after game 3 or game 4.
I mean, that's what you like for any quarterback, regardless of like who's in there. I mean, you would like for to blow out these, have 3 blowout wins. Jonas gets some reps, and then it's just Maiava just riding it off the rest of the season. Ideally, like that's what you would like it to look like. Especially Maiava's playing at a high level when he stays healthy. It's more for the future, and I guess an evaluation on, a little bit on their approach for next offseason. If it looks a little bit better, I would say obviously right. They're not playing major competition, right? We know that these are mid-major schools. If Jones goes in there and he struggles a little bit, it's like, all right, maybe we need to take a little bit harder look in the portal, right? As far as like bringing more guys in, and I guess the quality of guy that you bring in. Versus if he looks good, it gives you a little bit more confidence heading into next season.
Yeah, it's interesting how he handles the quarterback room this year, only because you've got Jayden Maiava, who I think everybody anticipates he's gone after the season. He's going to the NFL.
Yeah.
You'll have Jonas in place. Sam Huard, I think, will finally be out of eligibility, and then they're looking at a couple quarterbacks through the high school ranks. Are you going into, we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but are you going into 2027 with possibly a redshirt freshman at quarterback, a true freshman at backup? And like you said, you might have to hit the transfer portal to find that experienced player. So that is, I think, one of the weaknesses, although it's not something that scares me, but it is a weakness on the roster this year and then transitioning into next year.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of experience at quarterback, right? I mean, Sam has been around, but Sam hasn't played a lot. There's a reason why he's kind of bounced around a little bit, and obviously Jonas is a freshman. So I mean, it's the same quarterback room as last year, except Jayden has a year more under his belt. That's the only difference. It's the same thing as last year.
Okay, yeah, I think we're seeing the same thing. So
yeah.
It's just I'm curious to see how it's handled this year, because we know that maybe Lincoln Riley's not on the hot seat, but there's a lot riding on the season, and I just don't know if he wants to trust it to a true freshman in the event that it has to happen. I hope it doesn't have to happen. I'm hoping Jayden Maiava is ready to play 16 games this year, because they're playing 16 games. USC's in a good place, right?
Yeah.
All right. Next segment, I'm going to let you talk about some of the stock riser guys who are trending up, and then in the third segment, trying to figure out why Matt Leinart is under the gun, why everybody's picking on him and getting mad at him for saying, no, you can't have my jersey, it's retired, I won the Heisman. Yeah. It's coming up next, this episode of Locked On USC. So welcome to the 5-hour energy flavor draft. We're looking at every aspect of the draft to let you know which tasty flavors are the best and which just might be the sleepers. The board is set, the flavors are ready, and only one is going to take that top spot. For those of you out there who are wondering, 5-hour energy, they got a lot of big-time flavors in the hopper that they're going to be releasing here. So, keep checking for those. As far as where I'm going on the draft, I'm going strawberry watermelon first. I love those two flavors when they're combined. It's like taking 2 Jolly Ranchers and having an explosion of energy in your mouth. And then the sleeper for me, it's got to be that confetti cake craze. Delicious blend of rich, buttery, freshly baked confetti cake, smooth vanilla frosting, a sprinkle of sweetness in every sip. Yeah. So find your new favorite flavor of 5-Hour Energy shots. It's available online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. So I want to thank everyone again for making Locked On USC your first listen of the day, as well as making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. This is for my everydayers who listen to Locked On USC on their favorite podcast platform. Join the Everydayer Club now. Do it right now. Beginning of March Madness, use the code MARCH, MARCH, and get your first month free. If you sign up before the first game tips off, check it out. You're going to compete against me in our men and women's brackets pools. It's on the Discord channel. The winner of each is going to get $100 in Locked On merchandise, something that I can get this hat. And the rest of us, we're going to commiserate on how our bracket just kind of blew up. So if you need more information, check out the link in the show's description page. Kendell, there are still 2 more weeks of spring camp to go. They took a spring break from spring camp. 8 more practices. Plenty of time for guys to kind of move up and catch the coach's attention as these guys are going to contribute in 2026.
Yeah.
Who are some of the guys that you've seen, that you've witnessed, that are trending up? Stock risers. I've got 4 names right here. Elijah Vaikona. He's getting a big-time look at left tackle right now because Elijah Page is coming back after spring break, allegedly. And then wide receiver, Luke Weaver, Tron Baker. They're taking advantage of their reps during the spring. And then on defense, you mentioned Isaiah Rubin, or if you didn't, I should. You mentioned Tristan Castro. Isaiah Rubin and Alex Graham. Those are stock risers for me. Who are some of the guys that are trending up for you?
Yeah, I like the path that you went. Guys are getting more reps right now because the guys are out in the spring. I'll go to the same kind of idea position. RJ Sermons and Rock Hill. I really like the way that they look out there. I know they're big technique guys, which is huge. They're getting extended look, just working with Coach Reed. The battle is going to be really, really interesting at that position because obviously we know Jonas Williams will come back. He was the #1 transfer corner. Jason Johnson was a guy that they were big on who might have started last year if he was healthy. And then obviously Marcellus Williams started 11 games last year. A good group. I don't know what's going to happen in that position. I don't know what the 2 deep is going to look like. I don't know what the rotation is going to look like. I think it's wide open. I think it's because those 2 guys are making some noise. Offensively, how about the other 2 freshman receivers? I mean, I like that you highlighted Weaver and Baker, but I mean, the 2 guys that I think they're going to be part of the rotation is Mosley, who might end up starting, and then Katie, right? So those 2 guys, since they started, I mean, the reviews on them have been glowing since the minute they stepped on that practice field. And then let me give you one more. Elijah Newby. Yeah, I like Newby. Yeah. I like he's looking a lot stronger this year. He's a real contention, especially be that reserve role next year, kind of be that second string and kind of make things interesting at linebacker. So those are going to be my guys.
Okay. I like where you're going with that. The reason why I didn't mention Trent Mosley, like I said, he's kind of been stock rising since he stepped on the field at USC.
Yeah.
Someone told Scott Schrader that he's going to play a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He might be like, you know how Tanuk Hines just kind of showed up last year and was like, oh, look what Tanuk's doing.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be that dude.
Yeah. But
yeah, after the first 2 weeks, you know, I watched Luke Weaver, how he attacks it, how he runs his routes. Mm-hmm. He's got great ball security, the way he always makes sure the ball is in the right hand, and that security stick that Chad Savage likes to, you know, swing at people. It has no effect on him. In fact, I watched him break one on one rep, you know, that's how hard he hit it.
Yeah. With the Mosley, because you brought up, that's really interesting. Because same thing. I mean, I got a couple of texts from people that have been at practice, and they're like, they're making it, like, again, not putting anything out there that's, I don't think is not common knowledge, but they're making it very clear that he's going to play, and he's going to play a lot this year. That he's going to be heavily involved. I mean, you watch his tape, and 1, he's just electric with the ball in his hands, and 2, it's like watching a young Mekhi Lemon, right? I mean, they play the same position, they're kind of the same build, they kind of have the same movement, so it's like kind of watching, like, you know, it's just the younger version.
Yeah, and he had that big highlight that USC featured on one of those little clips that they sent out there, that midnight alley drill, where a friend of the show, Brandon Lockhart, unfortunately was on the bad end of that hit, but Trent took a soul right into the end zone. He got low man all his wins, and I think Brandon was a little high on that attempt, and you know what happened. So,
5'10" receiver on 6'2" corner. Trent he's same thing as Makai. Like you watch him play, and it's like they might as well be 6'2" or 6'3". Like just everything that they do, but they just happen to be 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah. So I actually raised this hypothetical question on an episode earlier this week, where, and again, I'm not trying to disrespect San Jose State. However, it's the off season right now, spring break. I'm just coming up with talking points. I figured, what could USC's first and second year players beat San Jose State? And that's not really what I'm going at right now, but I started to realize how deep that defensive line room is. You can go too deep with freshmen and second year players, and you have the best roster compared to the older guys. But you don't want to throw shade at them, but I was like, oh, wow, maybe this is what Eric Henderson was talking about, even though he doesn't have the guys.
You're asking if they could beat San Jose State, that first and second year? I mean, you would like to, because those are going to be a lot of guys that are playing for USC just in general this year, right? I mean, your Jakeem Stewart, your Tanook Hines, your Marc, the guys that you expect to have big roles and take that next step.
Jayden
Winston. The big thing about USC, and you brought it up earlier about the workout schedule that they're going through, right? They have all these rounds of workouts before they get to the season. The big thing too is kind of how strategic they were this past year, right? Because we all know the rule that once you commit, you can't visit other schools, right? So what did they do? They took the opportunity to go to campus as many times as possible. They kept going to spring practice. They went to these summer camps and worked with these coaches. I was writing a story on it today, and I saw it was like Rock Hill and Joshua Holland. They were like in the huddle with Coach Reed during like the pregame speeches from that UCLA game. And it's like they did everything to incorporate them and get them acclimated. So that's why by the time they get to spring, that's why you keep hearing these reports from them now, because they've been around for a year, right? And then by the time they get to fall, it's a year and a half, and you've been acclimated, you've gone through the workouts, you've been with the team, you just hit the ground running. And people don't know, but they're being very, very strategic on everything that they've done since Bowden has arrived.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, the way they're attacking the 2027 class. When it eventually happens next week, I know it's got pushed back a few days. USC feels really good with Danny Lang. That might be the end of the DB class for 2027. They might take one more, but high-profile name, just because you got to factor in the whole NIL part of the equation now. So
exactly,
that, to your point, there is a plan, and how many players are taken. I know right now they're getting a crystal ball for a running back out of Louisiana. We'll see if that happens. Good running back, but he would be the only one.
Yeah, that's the only one you can take. That's why they're also doing the whole thing with the quarterback situation too. They have to. I mean, they have to be. That's what makes this year really, really important as far as like having success on the field, because they took a lot of these guys but they recruited a lot of these guys as developmental guys, right?
Right.
So those players like Holland, and I'm not saying this predicting what happened after the year, but like Holland and Riordan, Malik Brooks when he gets here, like these are guys who are like they're not going to do something for us this year. But in 27, 28, 29, we think these are like our key players, right? So that's why they have this such big class, because of what they thought was out there in the 26 class as far as just prospects available. And it's bleeding into what they're doing in 27 because of what the guys they think they're going to stick around, that they can develop, that turn into your, Tobias Raymonds, your Christian Pierces, and those kind of guys. So, again, I think if you win, you succeed at a high level, the guys buy in a little bit more and they want to stick around and be a part of that. This is like you said, like this is why everything rides on this year, right? As far as recruiting success, maintaining guys on your roster retention, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you just hit it there on that last point. The retention part is going to be huge because of that 2026 class, number one in the country. Those guys they're going to play, and the ones who don't play, they're going to want to play. It's going to be interesting to see how that whole thing transpires. All right. We got one more segment to go. Got to figure out why Matt Leinart's being dragged through the mud right now, why this is such a big deal. I don't get it. I'm going to have you try and explain it to me in the next segment.
Yeah.
You win the Heisman Trophy at USC, your jersey gets retired. Mm-hmm. It's not like you retire a lot of jerseys, only 8 of them. But for some reason, Matt created a stink when he said he's not letting his go. I'll tell you what's coming up on the next segment. So it's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Taking, trying to book an appointment, that's not the most convenient. Sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth, wondering if they really get your situation specifically. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and back your appointment. Well, it's that time of the year, the biggest stretch of college basketball season. It's here. Buzzer beaters, bracket busters, and those unforgettable moments that everyone's talking about the very next day. Being there live for something like that, that's bucket list stuff. The hard part is always actually getting the tickets to those games. You got the long queues, the prices are jumping around back and forth, and then you get those lame surprise fees at checkout. The Game Time app gives the fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly simple to use. The Game Time guarantee means 100% legitimate tickets delivered on time and at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. There's nothing surprising at the end. What you see is what you pay, period. The seat view feature, game changer. You know exactly what your view is going to look like before you check out. And they have those zone deals that let you pick the section. You save even more money because Game Time selects the seats. No stress, no guesswork, just a smooth experience from start to finish. Take the guesswork out of buying college basketball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. All right, Kendell, why is everyone making such a big thing over Matt Leinart's line in the sand when it comes to his retired Heisman jersey number? I mean, look, if this wasn't the biggest nothing burger going on, I don't know what it would be. I heard one person say, Lincoln Riley, he doesn't get USC, he doesn't understand USC's traditions. He'll go behind Matt's back and make that jersey available. To that, I say some clickbait type of stuff. There is no argument to be made why Matt should give it up, but I'm going to put you on the spot. You're that star of the truth. Why do you deserve to wear Matt Leinart's jersey, Kendell?
Oh, I have to make my case to wear his jersey?
Yes.
I mean, it's a good number. 11's a good number. 11's a good number. I don't know, maybe 11. All right, we know why it's a big story, right? Because it's SC. That's the whole reason. We know it is because it shines a negative light on them, right? Especially on this specific era of Lincoln Riley, which is what everybody's pointing to. Sure. Matt comes out, he says, Riley never asked me. Yeah, he said it. Yeah. I don't. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. This is on every publication. It's on every show. Like everybody's talking about it. Like it's over a jersey number. I didn't know, like, this is like a scandal, right? This is bigger than the Michigan scandal, the way people are talking about this, man. No, I mean, it's not. It's not. And Matt
made his argument he stated his argument very clearly. And it was all about, look, in today's era of college football, why should I allow some 5-star stud to wear this for 1 year and then he's going to bolt in the transfer portal?
Yeah.
What's that all about? He has a point. The only people who are going to wear that number is if one of his kids end up at USC and wants to wear it. Other than that, pound sand.
That's fine. That's how it should be. There's 8 numbers. It's not like there's 28 numbers retired. There's 8 numbers retired. And, I'm always a fan of jerseys going to Raptors, jerseys being retired and all that kind of stuff because it celebrates, I guess, obviously their legacy and stuff like that, but you get to look back on their memories and stuff like that, especially when you go to the Coliseum every Saturday and stuff like that. You look to, especially us in the press box, you look to your right, you just see legends, right? You remember what they did at USC, you celebrated them. Exactly. And look, if a player says no, that's the end of it. Then they don't get to wear the jersey. I know Carson Palmer let Jordan Addison wear it for a year. I never have a problem with it. If he wants to let him wear it for a year, go ahead. That's your choice. But if Matt says no, Caleb says no, whoever Marcus Allen says no, that's the end of it. It's such an overblown story. I don't know who asked him. Obviously, this didn't come from the coach. What's up?
It's kind of crazy. And Matt even had to stipulate, look, it's not Lincoln Riley who's asking me to do this. This is coming from other people at USC throughout the years, which usually means a recruiting coordinator or some sort of recruiting, somebody who works in the recruiting office saying, hey, Matt, got a better shot of landing this guy if we can let him wear number 11. And I don't even know who they would be talking about. Now, with that said, if Jayden Maiava has a good year, he's going to be in New York for the Heisman ceremony. No, 11 isn't available. Charles White, number 12, isn't available. You got Caleb Williams, 13. That's unavailable. Mm-hmm. Now you're going to remove 14 if Jayden wins it.
Yeah.
When do we start saying, all right, well, now we need to reconsider this rule because we are running out of, quarterback numbers?
I mean, if they have like 15 Heisman Trophy winners, that's the criteria. It's a plain and simple criteria. People are acting like, oh, they're retiring anybody's jersey these days and stuff like that. Or why did Caleb get his number retired at USC? He won the Heisman. One person a year wins the Heisman. There's only one person a year that wins the Heisman Trophy. Those get their numbers retired, and USC just happens to have the best of that area. Let it be. It is what it is. Like, again, it only becomes a problem if 1 through 9 are all of a sudden like disappeared, like you said, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's like that becomes a problem. Like, I wonder what our quarterback's going to wear. We're like, you can wear 18 or 19. Like, those are your two choices.
99 and Huard.
Yeah, exactly. But like, there's other options. There's plenty of other options of jerseys to wear. It's again, like, it's not a large pool. It's whoever jersey retired, like, it's their choice to let somebody wear it or not. They say no, they say no. They say yes, let them wear it. But that's it. I don't know why. I don't understand why it's overblown like this. It's insane.
Agreed. Absolutely. Again, if you ever go to the Coliseum, if you're ever watching the game on TV and they show the peristyle end, which is where they light the torch to start the fourth quarter, you'll see the 8 Heisman Trophy jerseys, adorning that peristyle end of the Coliseum. It's special. Yeah. I mean,
it is.
You don't see a 55 there. You don't see a number 1. You don't see, number 7, which is a big number in the secondary for USC. Safeties who've worn it. 42. Yeah. There's certain iconic numbers that are still available, but you have to. Yeah. That's a jersey. Those are jerseys you have to earn.
Yeah. I love that. Like, that's like, I love that. Like, because I mean, LSU does the same thing, right? I mean, they have their specific numbers that are retired, and then one player a year, you earn it, you get number 7 or you get number 18. This is what is one of the greatest things about college football. Like, there's a specific reason why those numbers are retired. They're celebrated throughout your fan base. There's over 100+ years of history. You're one of the few people who's celebrated your legacy cemented forever. Like, Makai's not gonna get his number retired. Like, I mean, Deshaun Rideau's wearing it this year. Like, it's not getting retired. Like, there's a specific criteria. So it's not like they're just retiring it to retire jerseys. Like, there's a specific reason. And it's because you won the most prestigious award of college football.
You just made a great point. USC's got 2 Biletnikoff Award winners. Number 9 is always available. Makai's number 6 is going to be available. Yeah. And those are numbers that, that wide receiver recruits are going to want to wear because they want to be the next Makai Lemon or the next, Marquise Lee, whatever, number 1 BMW. There's some iconic numbers out there. So everybody doesn't need to wear a retired Heisman jersey. So all of you out there who are making a big to-do about this.
He never even said when it happened. He said it's like it could have been Lane Kiffin who asked him.
It could have been T. Martin for all we know.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah, he's like he said specifically wasn't. He said it wasn't Riley, which is what everybody wanted. That's what everybody's specifically looking for. And then
I wasn't even going to bring this up because, like you said, once Matt made it clear it wasn't Lincoln Riley. Here's somebody out there. By the way, Steve Kim, who every now and then I'll listen to his podcast. He's not a Lincoln Riley lover. He hates Lincoln Riley. So anytime he finds time to throw shade at him, but this was just straight out of clickbait. Yeah, Lincoln Riley's going to do it just because he doesn't respect USC's tradition. Look,
he's the one that said something about the Notre Dame rivalry too, right? Or
well, that's where he and I kind of see things similar on that part of it.
No, what was it? He said Riley's an outsider. He doesn't get it. Was that him?
He's one of the people who said that. He's not the only person who said that when it comes to the Notre Dame.
Stupid. That's so stupid whenever I hear. I mean, he came from the East Coast in the NFL.
Like, you got some former players at USC who said, "Hey, Notre Dame, USC should always be playing." And I'm not just talking about Keyshawn Johnson, who we know. Yeah.
No, but I was talking about calling him an outsider, like saying he's an outsider. I mean, they're all outsiders. Like,
true.
What is that? That's stupid. That's stupid. Carroll is an outsider. Like, only one that wasn't, I guess, was Lane Kiffin and Sark, right? I mean, because they came from the coaching tree.
Yeah. But everybody's an outsider at some point. John McKay was an outsider. John Robinson, I guess, sort of, but I mean, he was part of the McKay's coaching tree. So, yeah, especially in the coaching world, you're always an outsider. It's just how it is. All right, Kendell, we've reached our time limit. We've talked about everything we can talk about on this episode. Remind everybody again, where can they find you? What are you doing?
Yep, you can find me on Twitter. You see my handle right there, Hollowell _. You can find all my writing on USC Trojans on SI. Go check us out. Whole team does a great job staying up to date on all the sports. Can't miss out. I mean, if you love USC sports, you love reading about it, talking about it, go hit the follow button and go find our page. Yeah,
if you're not following Kendell, you're missing some good highlights. Dude takes some really good videos, so go check that out. All right, Kendell,
I got articles in there too. I write good too. Go ahead and check out my writing.
You do write very, very well. You do.
I'm versatile. I got my opinions in my tweets and my videos.
He's a two-way player. You look for him on both sides of the ball.
It's Twitter, man.
Kendell, I will have you back on again. We love having you here as a guest. Everyone, till that next episode of Locked On USC, you know what to do.